Welcome back to another fantastic video. Today we're going to be talking about the roles of the president. So whenever you think about someone being the president of the United States, you don't necessarily think about all of the different roles and responsibilities that the person has. So we're going to focus on that today. So as president, the person in charge of our country is the head of state, okay? And this means that they have a ceremonial responsibility for representing the nation, hosting visiting diplomats, and a diplomat is somebody who's like coming from another country, like the leader, and they're responsible for being the face of the United States and just representing us around the world. As the chief executive, as the term implies, the president is responsible for executing the laws that Congress passes, and he's also responsible for executing the decisions of the Supreme Court. Okay, so anytime the Supreme Court makes a decision, the president is also supposed to enforce those decisions. And included in his role as the chief executive, he has the ability to grant pardons, reprieves, and amnesty. So a pardon, and you do need to include these in your notes, a pardon is when the president totally forgives a crime, okay? So if you are convicted of a crime, you're in prison or whatever, the president can pardon you for those offenses. The president can also grant reprieves, which is a postponement of punishment. And the president can also grant amnesty, which is essentially a pardon to a whole group of people. The president is also the chief legislator, and as chief legislator, his main job is to propose legislation. Now, we know from our study on Congress that the president has absolutely no authority to actually create laws in Congress, but he can propose legislation and give Congress ideas. He also has the veto power, and we've studied that before as well. If the president doesn't like a bill, then he can veto it, and it goes back to the House that created the bill. The president is also the economic planner. And as the economic planner, his job is to create a budget for the United States and to try to get Congress to pass that budget, outlining all of the different programs and policies that his administration wants to implement, and then trying to get Congress to approve the budget, and hopefully they can get some of that stuff done. The president is also the commander in chief, and you have heard this phrase many times before, I'm sure. And as commander in chief, the president is responsible for directing military policy. We know that the president is in charge of the military, so it makes sense that they would also be able to direct military policy and make those decisions. The president is also the party leader, so they are as the leader of their party, expected to kind of promote their party's policies and try to get their agenda passed. He's also expected to fill government positions with people from his party. And we'll talk about that later on as well. The president is also the chief diplomat. And as chief diplomat, his job is to dictate foreign policy. He is responsible for forging relationships and alliances with countries around the world. The president also has the authority to create treaties. And a treaty, we know, is an agreement between countries. And if the president does want to make a treaty, of course, he has to have that treaty approved by the Senate. Okay, and with that, I will finish for today. And if you guys have any questions at all, please let me know.